Dave Birkett here, Freep.com. Carlos Monarrez coming in from off camera. Still trying to figure out that remote. We'll get to that next week. Short week this week, so we didn't have a lot of time to do much of anything. And the Lions dealing with some injuries at the quarterback position, Carlos, beyond Matthew Stafford, who we know is not going to play again this week. Matt Patricia said Tuesday, status quo. Chicago Bears coming to town Thanksgiving Day. Jeff Driscoll should be on the field. I mean, look, the Lions haven't made a move at quarterback, and if he's not going to be on the field or not going to be available, you'd think they have to add someone else. But, you know, a big part of his game has been running and running that zone read, and he's dealing with the hamstring injury right now. Matt Patricia said he's really sore, so maybe he's not the Jeff Driscoll that we've seen, and really that's about the only reason this Lions offense, I think, has been effective late. So their injury situation could be going from bad to worse.
Yeah, you would think that, Patricia talked about it a little bit yesterday, how, you can adjust to that with, more shotgun reads and this and that. Certainly the offense is designed for that. Stafford's out of the shotgun quite a bit. So,
yeah, but wait, let me cut you off here. But Stafford, that's what Stafford does well. What Jeff Driscoll does well is scramble. And if he can't scramble, all of a sudden your offense that managed, 16 points last week against that mighty Washington team, I don't know. I'm worried about how many points they can generate against a good Chicago Bears defense.
Yeah, you know what? I think, I'm sure he's we haven't seen him play that much, and I haven't looked at his college tape, so I don't know. But Florida, I guess they do a lot of option stuff, so you would think he's able. I'm sure he's been in the shotgun a few times. It's not his forte necessarily. You're right. It probably robs him of a little bit of the potency, the variety, the trickery, whatever you want to call it. But I'm sure he'll be okay back there, and they can disguise some plays. And plus, maybe they'll just show the read option or whatever, but then it's going to be a handoff, or a little slant pass or a little screen or something. There's ways around it. Honestly, the one thing too, I'm not sure with the Bears game, how much did he have to do? Did he have time for the run option? Did it help keep Khalil Mack and those guys off of him? Yeah,
I think he ran for 39 yards or something. I looked it up earlier in that game. They obviously they caught Chicago a little off guard just early, not having, or Chicago was prepared for Matthew Stafford. That was the game that Driscoll came in, started, really a last-minute decision, or at least it was revealed at the last minute. Obviously, they knew Stafford was injured that Friday and he wasn't going to play. I think look, to me, it's not just Driscoll running. That's been a big part of his game, escaping pressure, getting out, running that zone read. I think it's also what's helped this running game open up for Bo Scarborough a little bit, is, the threat of having Jeff Driscoll in the backfield and him keeping the ball. You have to account for that. And so that's what worries me about this Lions offense, if Driscoll is limited in any way.
But the one thing is I like Driscoll's arm, too. I think he throws it pretty well. So I would like to see how he does in the shotgun, actually, with a little bit more time to throw, setting his feet more, not having to – he's been okay rolling out of the pocket and being, off platform and all this other stuff. But I like to see him out there. Just, maybe sometimes if you have to play left-handed, Dave, as Jim Caldwell like to say, you play left-handed when you play basketball, I'm sure, or no-handed probably.
Good hand.
Sometimes that changes your game. Sometimes it makes you a little bit better of a player and makes you adjust. And certainly this week, I think they probably have something built into the game plan for, hey, listen, we know he's not going to be quite as mobile. I think he'll be fine.
Carlos likes to see Jeff Driscoll. He wants to see him throw it 45 times a game. He also likes car accidents and Ferris wheel, fair accidents and everything. So we'll see what
people you meet in heaven. Is that a nod to Mitch Albom?
I've
Ferris
heard.
Wheel?
Is that
That's what it start. That's where it starts. Wow.
Okay. All right. I don't remember, man.
Sucking up to Mr. Albom yet again. Wow.
Is he going to be there Thursday? I don't know, Mitch.
Will.
Hopefully, we'll see you. All right. So look, Lions Bears Thanksgiving. Before we get on to our game predictions, and I don't know that many people out there really care, give two hoots about the game right now. Let's talk about what Matt Patricia said yesterday, and that's trust the process, right? He mentioned, hey, look, I'm disappointed with the season. I'm disappointed with where things stand at this point in his tenure as Lions coach. But then he said, we know this is a process. And, it is. Obviously, building a program is a process. Nothing is going to happen overnight. But when you take over a team that went 9-7 the 2 previous seasons, and you fire that coach because that's not good enough, and we think we're better than 9-7, and then you come in and you go 6-10, and now you're 3-7-1. That just, I don't know. Obviously, it sounds like, hey, you're trying to buy some time. Don't worry about people calling for my job. Trust the process here. We're trying to build something, but do you trust this process? I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think that's what obviously Martha Ford has to decide late in the season is, do we trust the process to keep this going? But you have to see some sort of some benefit to the process. You have to see some forward progress to it. And I don't know that we've seen that here of late.
You got to believe in the invisible is what you're saying, really. That's what you're
Another former Lions coach dropped that nugget on us a bunch of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I wonder, because we never get to talk to the Fords, Martha Ford or anybody else. We really
call me, Martha, Sheila. I'm here.
Rod Wood, Bob Quinn is rarely available, but
you can email me too.
You think she can email?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who can't email?
My parents have a hard time emailing, and they're much younger.
They can
I think that the question is, how much time did they really expect? And I don't know if teams go in with this benchmark. All right, year 1, 5-6 wins, 7 wins. Next year, 9-10 wins. You should be flirting with the playoff spot. By year 3, you got a challenge for the division title. Who knows if they have those benchmarks or whatever? I don't know. The Fords don't tell us that kind of stuff.
Regardless of whether they have those benchmarks, when you fire a coach coming off 9-7 seasons and you say we should be better, we expect to be better, we're better than 9-7.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any room for this.
All right,
huge steps back.
Let's just clear up this 9-7 jibber jabber mumbo jumbo. It was just lip service. It was just an excuse so that Bob Quinn could fire Jim Caldwell and hire his boy Matt Patricia. That was what was going to happen the whole time.
I agree 100% with that.
Unless Jim Caldwell had won 1 or 2 playoff games, he wouldn't have been able to fire him. Anything short of that, 9-7, flirting with making the playoffs. Once under Bob Quinn during his tenure. Brought the team back to respectability. Martha Ford with I love Jim Caldwell, all this different stuff. That was the deal. When he was hired, it was let's do the Patriots. That was the whole point, and they've done the Patriots.
No, they haven't. They haven't won. That's not the Patriots. They haven't won.
Okay,
it's not the Patriots.
Right. It's an imitation of the Patriots, but it's not the Patriots.
It's not a good one either, right?
Not a good one, but that's what the whole point was, And so, and that's the whole thing. This whole thing has been, smoke and mirrors of we're not the Patriots. Of course, you're the Patriots. You're trying to be the Patriots. That's exactly why you hired this regime, But you can't just come out and say, well, Jim Caldwell is not a Patriots guy. He's not a Belichick guy. I want to hire my buddy. That's never going to play. You can never say that.
I mean, we all knew that was the case anyways, that they were
right.
boys.
So you got to say something. What are you going to say when you fire Jim Caldwell after 9-7? What are you going to say?
Well, it's the same thing. Look, I want to build this in a different, vision, a different direction. And we all knew, look, Jim Caldwell wasn't the guy. This, Bob said he's not the guy that take us to the next level. You can be 9-7 and be in that state of mediocrity and just you're not improving, and they didn't improve. It's not like they were winning 12 games at any point. They had the 11-5 season, step back, and then they were just mired in that state of mediocrity. Now they're not even mired in mediocrity. Now they're below mediocrity, and that's the thing that's tough for people to understand, and there's nothing to grasp hold of and say, yeah, I can see this. And Matt has talked about having some of the, getting the rookies playing well and all the young guys that are playing, and it's the offense obviously took a step forward this year when Stafford was healthy, but I don't know if that's enough.
All right. Well, you and Jeff talked about this after the game in Washington, and I think one of you said, I can't see where they're improving, but the offense is definitely something that's very tangible that you can see improving. Darrell Bevel has been a godsend compared to Jim Bob Cooter, right? So they have made the right decision there. Kenny Galladay's become really good. They have some other pieces. Bo Scarborough is promising. Kerryon Johnson was promising before he got hurt. Matthew Stafford's playing at an MVP level before he got hurt.
They were still losing when all that was going on. They were still losing.
Okay,
that's the bottom line of it.
Right. Lose. Okay, but you can't just look at, they just lost and that's it. How did they lose? The defense didn't live up to its potential.
And they couldn't run the ball.
Well,
And they lost
somewhat.
leads late. You know, there were
They
some
had the lead in every game.
right.
So it's potato. I'm
No.
saying if you're building a case, if you're Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia and you're building a case for why do you keep us, this is what you point at.
Absolutely.
And there's always going to be a balance sheet of negative and positive, but you can point to that, and all that's true about
cigarette
the
companies pointed to what was good about smoking cigarettes too. They ignore that.
tasty and cool,
Ignore
yeah.
that surgeon. Look
And
at Joe Camel.
That's the that's the thing that you have to remember of what. And we talked about this before. Martha Ford doesn't listen to you and me. She listens to Bob Quinn. She listens to Matt Patricia. And she listens to Rod Wood. 3 people in the organization that she listens to.
Sheila.
Sheila's kind of the co-owner, by the way. She's whatever. When you say Martha Quinn, it's Sheila
Ford.
It's
Sheila. What's in your head?
I'm sorry, Martha. When you say Martha Ford, it's Sheila Ford and Steve Hamp, her husband, Sheila's husband. So that's like a 3-pronged ownership thing right now. So they're going to be, it's up to them to temper that, positive message with, wait a minute, but we spent $90 million on Trey Flowers. What did he give us? What about Snacks? He hasn't been playing as good as he should have. All these different things, right? The defense supposed to be, that's your calling card. It hasn't lived up, So there's going to be a balance, and that's been the problem is the defense, right? So, but when you
That's been one of the problems, yes.
But let's not forget that.
And now, where the run defense is improving.
Let's not forget, most of the money in this franchise is tied up with Matthew Stafford. This whole franchise believes that they have a smaller window here. Stafford's going to be 32. The window's closing on when you can win with Matthew Stafford. And then you got to start thinking about having his replacement. And the Lions have been like the Bears with Sid Luckman and Bobby Lane looking for a quarterback forever. They feel like Stafford is the guy, right? And so you have one of the moves you made was hiring Darrell Bevel, getting Stafford to play at an elite level again. He got hurt. I'm sorry.
So scared of the unknown, man. We've
I
talked
thought
about
the
this
unknown.
before. Like,
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, man, Matthew Stafford will never be good under another coach. He was good before under Scott Linehan. He can be good again and whoever
How was
the
he
coach
under
is.
Jim Bob Cooter?
You know what? He was fine for 1 year. He had that one really good year. And then last year when it was square peg round hole and they tried to do something different and Jim Bob Cooter tried to fit his system into what Matt Patricia wanted, it didn't work.
Okay, the clock is ticking. It's ticking louder than ever for Stafford. This injury, 2 different back injuries in 2 years, proves it, okay? It's not just the different coach, whatever. It's that the window is closing with him. You've got the coach right now who's making him play well. Are you going to start it all over? You're going to scrap it all over. You just spent $90 million on Trey Flowers. You're going to hire some new coach who's going to be like, I don't know if he really works in our system. And then we're going to be scratching our heads like, well, what are they doing with Trey Flowers?
Okay, so let's extrapolate this. This is a dating world, right? You've got a sister, all right? Let's say she's 35. She's feeling a little old. No.
Is this appropriate for Facebook?
No, listen.
I've got a sister and she's old. Okay.
She's 35. She's in a not good relationship. She's like, but you know what? I'm getting old. Like my window of opportunity is leaving me now. Are you going to tell her to go ahead and marry that dude that's not good for her? No, you'd be like, get the hell out of that relationship, right? Like, so how is this any different?
You're right. There's no difference at all. This is exactly. Oh my God! You're gonna work on your analogies this offseason, right?
That's
is there
a
an
good
analogy
one.
camp?
No, that's a good one. I think people out there get it, right? That's exactly what you're saying with Matthew Stafford. Well, the window's closing. There's never going to be another window. Who knows how long the window's going to be? Matthew's got 3 years left on his deal. Maybe he heals up from this back stuff. Maybe he gets another contract.
Is he going to get
If
healthier?
not, who knows? Maybe he's not even healthy enough next year. So then you don't have a window at all, and you got to get a young quarterback. Who's the guy that's going to develop that young quarterback? I mean, so there's a lot that we don't know, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing with your imaginary sister, not a real sister. Your imaginary sister that's 35 that's stuck in a bad relationship, but all of a sudden she's like, man, I'm getting kind of old here. And you're like, yep, tough luck, man. Suck it up. I don't know if you're going to find anything better. Go for it. That's not how things work. You don't just settle and think that, oh, man, you know what, we just got to roll the dice here. Like, if you think this is the right thing, then you do it. Then you keep going forward with it. If you get to the point where you're like, it's not working, that's when Martha Ford has to move on.
I hope your sisters are not watching this. I really hope. I hope my sister's not watching it.
I would give my sisters that good advice and say, look, if you don't like the dude, if you don't see any redeeming qualities in that guy, then you move on and go to somebody else. It doesn't matter how old you are or what stage of your own rebuild you're in.
Oh my God.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to let that stand on its own. And I'm just going to say that you can't play the unknown card because anything can happen, right? The NFL can fold tomorrow, whatever. You don't know what's going to happen. But traditionally, I think you would admit that especially quarterbacks who get hit quite a bit like Stafford, they don't tend to get healthier as they don't just find the the Drew Breeses, the Tom Brady's of the world, they're freaks. You don't see them. Tom Brady plays a different game, but guys like Tony Romo and most guys, Big Ben, these guys, they just you take a pounding. It's just the law of nature.
Yeah.
He's not going to get healthier. They know that. They know that okay, hopefully he is, maybe he doesn't play another snap, but they know internally. They know, and we've seen him in the locker room. You even asked me the other day, like, you seem to kind of just be walking around and you seem, okay. He's like, yeah, I feel okay, but he seems pretty normal, not football normal. Obviously he's not healthy enough to play, but I think they expect him to come back next year. I think everybody would expect him to come back next year, and barring any kind of freak thing, whatever, yet again, another injury, that you'd have another good season with Bevel. And I think Stafford is different a little bit with. This offense really has suited him. He's been happy in it. He's been productive. There's variety. As much as the tight ends kind of get, decried, the Jesse James stuff, and Hawkinson had the great debut, but kind of fallen off. They've changed the scheme. They've changed the way that that offense operates. I like where it's going. The Scarborough thing is promising. Get another running back. Carry on. Hopefully comes back next year. There's a lot of pieces there that you have to like. The defense is, who knows? It should be. We still can't really figure out why it hasn't been as good as it should have been. And that's definitely, if Patricia is going to get fired, or Bob Quinn, both of them, it'll be because of the defense. Because you spent all the money, you got your guys in there, you got rid of Quiner Diggs and Evan Lawson and all that, you turned the roster over, this was your thing, and it's fallen flat. So that's the thing that they have to account for. But when you asked me the original question, where do you see the improvements? It's definitely the offense. And Stafford is a favored child. He's the franchise player. You spent more money on him than anybody else. If you have to pick one thing to work in this team that will save your job, it's Matthew Stafford. And don't forget, Jim Caldwell was hired as the quarterback whisperer, and what did he do? He benched Stafford, and that soured that relationship from the beginning, and it never really recovered. And then you had this weird thing of let's hold on to Jim Bob Cooter and blah, blah, blah. I think now, give him another year. See if the defense rebounds. Maybe they add some pieces. Maybe they get rid of some. But Bevel and Stafford, don't mess with it. Going to be 32. I'm right. I don't know about don't talk about sisters anymore.
Oh, Carlos, you make decisions for all the wrong reasons. I'm glad you don't. All right, look,
Martha.
Let's move on
Martha
because
Quinn.
we're just going to argue. We're just going to go back and forth on this. And
I've got you wriggling in the crushing grip of reason.
no, you don't. You have me thinking to myself why does this guy not get it? That's what I'm thinking. It doesn't matter. That would be the wrong decision to keep this group. You keep this regime if you're like, you know what? This is the regime that can lead me to the promised land. Not because, you know what? I'm scared of what'll happen if we get rid of Darrell Bevel. What's going to happen to Matthew Stafford? He's never going to play at this level again. He played at it before. He could play at it again next year. Doesn't matter who the coaches. If you believe in Matthew Stafford, if he's a good enough piece to build around, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. You should be like, you know what? If we hire the right people are in place, Matthew can play at that level. It doesn't matter. If he's not that player, then he's not the right guy to build around.
Let me ask you
he's not the right guy to build around.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if the Fords would be interested in asking Stafford, but
yes,
if they ask Stafford, what do you think should be done? What do you think he would say? Go ahead and clean house, or
I have no
just
idea what he'd say.
Keep Bevel and get rid of everybody else?
Well, I have no idea what he'd say, but
he lobbied for Jim Bob Cooter. Could he lobby for Darrell Bevel?
He could do a lot of things.
What would you do if you were Stafford?
I would say, you know what, man? I'm sick of not winning in 11 years, so just do something that's going to help me win, whatever it is. And if you don't, then I'm not signing another contract here, and I'm going to wherever afterwards.
Third coordinator in what'll be 4 years.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying, if you think this is the right regime, you keep them. If you think you can win with them, if you see some signs, if you're like, man, this is, we can win for A, B, and C, he's really the right coach. This is, we really have the right pieces. We really are moving in the right direction. You keep them.
Right.
But if you don't keep them out of fear of what's going to happen if we get rid of Darrell Bevel. And, man, Stafford, all we have is this really short window. You don't know what the window is. You don't know if it's short. You don't know if it's long. You don't know if it exists at all. So you don't make the decision for that reason. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I think to And again, it goes to, if that's the only reason you're keeping it, well, look, Matthew's playing pretty well this year. He's played pretty well before. And if you don't think he can play well in the future, no matter who his coach is, who's calling plays, what if Darrell Bevel gets a head coaching job? All of a sudden, he's gone, right? So you don't think Matthew Stafford can play better in the future, then he's not the right guy to build around, and then you get rid of him anyway. So, you build around somebody else.
That's definitely, the only thing you've said that makes sense is if Darrell Bevel
only
gets
thing, ask your sister. Ask your sister.
I will. That's the only thing that makes sense is that Darrell Bevel's gone. You have no choice, right? I mean, I don't know. You can't really block it, right? Because he's already
head coaching hire.
Yeah. So that's the thing you have to worry about. Will he really get that many offers? I mean, on a kind of sinking ship kind of mentality, that's the way they're viewed outside of the the Lions is just, wow, he's done good things. He's had one good year with Stafford, and obviously he comes from the Seahawks, but he was also out of the league for a year, so it's not like he's a flaming hot candidate that everybody's after, oh my God, he's a hot new thing, whatever. Yeah. I mean, he's done well with Stafford, but I don't know. So I don't know that's a good point.
It's a great point.
Remember this, and unfortunately, we think of the fans and some of the media tend to think of the Lions and pro teams as just like teams, and we're emotional about it, and we get mad, and we go to a game and they get beat by Washington, and it feels bad. And how can you lose to Dwayne Haskins is even in the final series? He's out taking selfies, and everybody gets mad and emotional. True. This is a business. And these people act like business people. And whether you're talking about Apple or Yahoo or Gannett or whatever, the people don't like regime changes. They don't like to hire people and fire them. They like to keep, if you're going to make a decision, you want to stick to it as long as possible. Now, I would say the one thing that this year one of the things that it has going for it, and you've mentioned it many times, is there's no chaos. The locker room's not lost. People aren't angry. People aren't bitter. Part of it is they've been wise to get rid of the people who are kind of more outspoken, like Quandre. So
Quandre Diggs is playing great in Seattle. What do you mean they were wise to get rid of him? He's playing great in Seattle.
Because you can sow dissent in the locker room. That's how the Darius Slay is not going to be here. Why? Because he doesn't have talent next year? No. Because he's grousing, because he's speaking up publicly.
No.
They don't want that.
That's not right. Because they feel they can replace him for the money that he's making, and they can find someone for, lesser money. If you're going to pay Darius Slay,
if he was a happy camper and loved Matt Patricia and Coach Patricia-Bob Quinn, I believe in you. You think they'd be getting rid of him?
No. I think the mentality in the NFL is, I'll put up with you until I can replace you. And Darius Slay has gotten to the point with this regime that they feel they can replace him. His skills on the field, the money that he's going to command in the offseason, sure, maybe his willingness to speak out, that all plays into it. But it's not just about that. It's everything. If somebody's speaking out, but they're a baller and they're leading you to the best pass defense in the NFL, and you're going to put up with them. That's how it is in the NFL. Good players get more breaks than other players, and the coaches, the regimes, whoever, their willingness to put up with those type of players is, you tend to look the other way when some of those things happen.
Sure.
And they're not going to look the other way this offseason. I don't think they're not going to give Darius more money. I'd be stunned if they did. Darius is going to want a new contract. That's why this is all ultimately going to, lead to him playing somewhere else next year, I think.
Right. And if he was a rah-rah guy, they'd find a way to keep him.
Well,
there's no question they'd find a way.
He still wants money. He still wants money at the end of the day, right. And they wouldn't pay him.
Trey Flowers $90 million.
Okay, but
who's contributed more, Trey Flowers or Darius Slay?
Trey Flowers.
Trey Flowers
has played pretty well. Trey Flowers is
the part of the season he hardly did anything.
Yeah, he's their best run defender. He's tied for the team leading sacks, regardless of the sacks and how they come. I think Trey Flowers is having a good year. I think he's about what you expect. They overpaid him, but I think Trey Flowers has been a really good player for them this year. Darius has missed, 3 games essentially with hamstring injuries, 2 full ones, halves of 2 other ones. He obviously had a rough game against the Chargers, Keenan Allen. He had a rough day against Washington the other day. So,
who do you have?
Regardless, we're off topic. We're off topic out here because no, you're right. They don't have the talent on defense right now. They have talent, but they don't have. We've talked about this before. They don't have the blue chip type players that you really need to win in the NFL to really create some havoc in the NFL. And that's part of why their defense is as bad as it is. I'll say that. I think their defense is better than it should be. The talent on defense is better than what it's shown collectively so far, but it's not like, this is a top 5 defense and they're, not playing up to that level. I mean, I think we're talking about a middle of the pack defense at the end of the day, and they're just not even reaching that level.
Mark my words, remember it here today that we're talking about this. If this regime is kept, and the question is going to be, if it comes down to the 9-7 thing is going to be a thing that's thrown around. By the way, that 9-7, someone asked, is 9-7 not good enough? And Bob Quinn said, no, it's not. He never said 9-7 is not good enough. Someone asked that question, and he just affirmed it, which is fine. You still have affirmed it. It's kind of like making that statement, but it's not quite saying him. I think people always think that Bob Quinn said that, but he didn't. But at the end of the season, when it comes down to the accounting of the defense and why, whatever, there's going to be some explanations made about how some guys just weren't quite ready for training camp. And that's probably the explanation that they're going to give to the Fords. And if the Fords are willing,
okay,
if they want,
whose fault is that? You signed a guy, Trey Flowers, coming off shoulder surgery, who wasn't going to be ready. You had this contract situation with Damon Harrison. If you were going to pay him in May, so that way he's there and he's ready to play and everything, and he's not holding out. I know he didn't technically hold out. No, it's not. No, that comes down to the front office. If you make those decisions, this is the team that this regime built. Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, everyone. These are the guys. They decided to spend the money on Justin Coleman. They decided to spend the money on Trey Flowers. They decided to spend the money on Damon Harrison when they did. This is who they decided to go to war with. And the fact that it backfired on them, whose fault is that? It's not Trey Flowers. He had shoulder surgery in February. Everybody knew that. It's not Damon Harrison's. He's doing what he wants for his. He's a businessman too. This is the team that this regime went to war with, and they have only themselves to blame for the situation that they're in.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless Martha Quinn Ford is not listening to you right. If she's listening to you right now, maybe she'll believe you. But the regime has her ear. The brass who talks to her is going to give a certain explanation, and it's not going to be it's our fault. It's going to be the players' faults. The guys who didn't come in ready. That's why the defense struggled. That's going to be the explanation to some extent, right? So whether Martha and Sheila want to believe that or not, that's up to them. That's where that decision is going to be made. Of listen, next year they're going to be ready. We have our dogs. We have our blue chip guys. Slay's going to be out of here. We're going to trade. We're going to get a 3rd round pick for him. Whatever. We're going to sign some cornerback and wherever from who's going to with the Patriots. Going to hide some either from the Giants or the Patriots. Going to get a cornerback. It's going to be It's going to be hope, right? Hope. We believe the offense is looking good. Your adopted son, Matthew Stafford, is playing really great. The defense is going to be much better next year.
That's what it comes down to. Hope.
It's going to be hope.
And I will say, you mentioned the business side of it earlier. Fans don't have any hope out there right now. They've given up on this team the last 2 years. Rightfully. I mean, I understand why.
The great thing about this fan base is they've every spring for 60 years, hope has been renewed. Once you start writing about all your draft pick stuff and you go to the combine and you get everybody's hopes up, it's kind of your fault. You get everybody's hopes up with all your wonderful stories about who's talking and who's, I want to be a Lion and this and that, right? The Joe Burrow, you're going to talk to Joe Burrow and I can be a Lion, all this stuff, right? And then the draft rolls around. Everybody gets excited. That's the whole NFL is built on
except parity. They struggled to sell tickets last year when they had their lowest attendance in the last 5 or 6 years. They're struggling. I mean, I get the Groupon updates every single week where you can buy Lions tickets for like $10 or something like that. That's not through the team. That's through the ticket broker or whoever. But still, Lions tickets are easy to come by right now because there's apathy. It's set in among the fan base. So
that's true.
They have. I mean, just you mentioned the business side of it. That has to be accounted for too.
That's true, and that's where someone like Rod Wood steps in. The team president has to look at this and it's a black and white ledger thing for him. Is we're not making enough money. It's hard to fill those seats. He's got to defend his job, and he can have as many initiatives as he wants for Blue Donuts or whatever he wants, right?
So are you blaming all this on Rod now instead of on the football side of things?
No, I'm saying Rod Wood is going to be another voice who has to look at this regime, and he's really good friends with Sheila and Steve Hamp, right? So he's going to be the one who has to say, listen, I'm bumping my head against the wall. You said it's hard to sell tickets. We're doing all these different initiatives, but if we don't win, and everybody knows that at the end of the day, if you don't win, people are not going to come to the games. So that's what it comes down to. The business side of it is, I'm doing what I can. Rod's got to be a little worried about his job potentially doing all these things. They're not making enough money. They should be making either they're losing money, they're not making enough money, whatever, right? And that's mostly because of the product on the field. So he may weigh in on this and say, hey, listen, we can't have another year of this. We've had who knows? They don't open the books to us, so we don't know how much they've lost or made in the last 2 years. But that's another part of the accounting.
All right, we've been talking a long time here, and we've been going in circles because I'm right, and you just continue to question my authority. But let's just make some predictions here. Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody has a great Thanksgiving. You enjoy your turkeys and mash, whatever you're eating out there. The pumpkin pie. I hate pumpkin pie. Apple pie for me. Yeah, we got to get out there and eat too. Lions Bears Thursday. Who wins and why? Give me a score.
I'm going to say Lions are going to win this game, 21-20. Bears have struggled to score on offense. I know you think they may be exploding here, but they struggled. There was a defensive struggle last game too, a few weeks ago when they were in Chicago. Lions will have a little bit of the advantage here, at home. And I just think the Bears aren't that good. I mean, I think the Lions can handle them. Or Scarborough's done enough. Driscoll, the injury kind of worries me a little bit, but I think he'll do enough. I like his arm. I like what he can do. And this is going to be one of those win one for the Gipper games, I think. It's going to be, you know what, Dave? And part of it is hope. Is I don't want to have to deal with a loss, and then we're all worried about there's going to be a firing on Monday, Mooch style, which I don't think so. But
hope is not a strategy, Carlos.
It is a strategy. It's not a good one, but it's a strategy. Schwartz is wrong. So I think it's going to be close. It can go either way. I don't see a blowout. I think only a fool would predict a blowout, but what do you say, Dan?
9-6, Bears win. Lions get 3 safeties. Bears get 3 safeties and a field goal. This is going to be another atrocious game to watch. 9-6. That's what it is. Chicago Bears are winning. I just don't trust the Lions anymore. You lose to Washington, you don't get any benefit of the doubt.
And Washington didn't score a touchdown, by the way.
Not an offensive touchdown. Neither will Chicago. It's Mitch Trubisky. He's like Dwayne Haskins bad. I mean, they're all on the same level. So that's why I say 9-6. A bunch of safeties, 1 field goal.
Can we ask?
Bears win.
Here's the other thing: is what happens if they lose? 5 straight losses. They fall to 4-8-1. Is it
3-8-1?
I'm sorry, 3-8-1.
Look, I don't think in-season firings do anything, but you have to be ready for it at the very least. I will feel bad. Listen, Martha Ford, if you're watching. So I have a basketball tournament. My girls have a game on Saturday. It's a consolation game, 3rd place game. Had to miss our first 2 games last week when I was in Washington, and I want to be there to coach. So if you could do me a favor, if there is anything in the works, give me a heads up, or wait until that Sunday. Wait till after our game. Yeah, no, our game's Saturday, so I don't care. Okay, but no, like I said, I don't think.
Put it all over the NFL. Yeah. The Lions have fired.
I don't think I'm just not one for in-season firings. I mean, barring some extenuating circumstances where there's something that happens. I just don't think I like to judge the entire body of work, all 16 games, 32 games in his tenure, whatever it is. So I don't know if anything's going to happen. Obviously, Jason Lockhan-Ford from CBS reported, said on their show the other day that keep an eye on that situation if the Lions don't win. I think all antennas are up. I think this is a very important game for the Lions to get. As I said, I don't like where things are headed right now for the Lions. The state of the offense, the state of the injuries. I just think I don't like the Bears much either. I don't think their offense is any good, but that's.
But they have their what was Trubisky number 2 overall, 3 overall. What was he?
Traded up to 2, I think.
Yeah,
right?
2nd overall draft pick. The Lions have Jeff Driscoll. So let's not forget. I know. I'm saying that the Bears stinking is worse with Trubisky with their guy. It'd be like if the Lions were stinking with Stafford. It's a different. And we can't forget that. I mean, as angry as people were, whatever those. If you told someone at the season opener, hey, Bo Scarborough and Jeff Driscoll are going to be leading this offense, you'd be like, what? Well, they have no prayer, and yet we expect them to win, even in Washington. I mean, we expect them like, well, you should be winning handily. Like, they're down to the dregs. They were out 5 starters, on both sides of the ball. Trey Flowers probably not going to play with concussion. Even Tracy Walker.
Once again.
I know, you're saying I'm making...
It's your bed. You made it. Okay. The reason why you have Jeff Driscoll as quarterback is because that's who you decided to roll with. But spend some money on Case Keenum, and then you don't have that going on.
This is not a Joey Harrington on Thanksgiving kind of thing. This is not a, And trust me, the fans, I understand they're upset. They're going to be so itchy to boo on Thursday. They're going to be ready to boo at the first. If they go on offense, what are their first offensive series? If they don't get a touchdown, probably going to get booed. So the Fords are going to hear that, and the Thanksgiving game is sacred to them, and it means a lot, and all this stuff. So they don't want to hear the boos. They don't want to be embarrassed at home. That all counts for something. But I hope that the Fords have enough emotional detachment, enough sort of cold-blooded, in the light of day, the next day, calculated. Let's not make a rash decision here. Let's wait till the end of the season. Don't just appease the fans because you lost to the Bears.
No, I agree. That's why I said that. I'm just not one for in-season moves. I think you need to judge the entire body of work. So, who knows what happens?
But it could get ugly.
For my own sake, for everyone's sake, let's hope that we have a good holiday weekend that we get to spend with the family.
Absolutely. Or I get to spend it with you, at least.
There you go. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Carlos. I will see you Thursday, unfortunately. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Just in case I don't see you, enjoy your food. Hopefully you can enjoy your football, and that'll do it for us here. Carlos Monarrez, Birkett, Freep.com.